Hello, my name is Miss Jones. I teach elementary school math and welcome to my channel, Miss Math Jones. Today we're going to be working on our Eureka Module 3, Lesson 23 homework for 3rd grade. The objective for the homework is to solve two-step word problems involving single-digit factors by multiples of 10 and two-digit factors. Let's get started. The directions say to use the RDW process for each problem. RDW means read, draw, write. So you read the problem, you draw to work out the solution, and then you write the solution for each problem. Let's go ahead and get started with number 1. Number 1 says there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Use a strip diagram to find the total number of minutes in 6 hours and 15 minutes. So let's read it sentence by sentence and go ahead and draw it out so that we can write the solution to the problem. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we have 1 hour. You're going to write down 1 hour and 60 minutes. Create a little box with 60 minutes in it. So we know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Now the next sentence says to use a strip diagram to find the total number of minutes in 6 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so if one box of 60 minutes is 1 hour, then we can create 6 boxes of 60 minutes to equal 6 hours. So let's go ahead and start. Box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5, box 6. So we have 6 boxes, and those 6 boxes represent 6 hours. Now remember, we need 6 hours and 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and create one more box that equals 15 minutes. All right. So now on your papers, you should have a strip diagram, 6 boxes with 60 in them, and one box with 15 in it. So that represents 6 hours and 15 minutes. Now we have to go ahead and create an equation so that we can figure out the total. So if I have 6 boxes with 60 in it, that's the same thing as saying 60 times 6. So let's go ahead and work that problem. 6 times 0 is 0. And 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, so now I have the first part of my equation, which is the 60 minutes times 6 boxes. But now I have to add that 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and add 15 minutes to 360 minutes. All right, let's start with the ones place. 0 plus 5 is 5. And 6 plus 1 is 7. And 3 plus 0 is 3. So that means that there are 375 minutes in 6 hours and 15 minutes. That's our answer. Now, if you need a few moments to pause the video and write down the information that I have here on the screen, or just to check your work, go ahead and do so now. Number 2. Miss Lemus buys 7 boxes of snacks. Each box has 12 packets of fruit snacks and 20 packets of cashews. How many snack packets does she buy altogether? Okay, let's read this one sentence at a time to work it out. So the first sentence says that Miss Lemus buys 7 boxes of snacks. Each box has 12 packets of fruit snacks and 20 packets of cashews. I saw the word each, so that means that I'm going to need a get chart. Okay, 7 boxes. The 7 would go in my groups. Now the each is weird here because I have 2 numbers for each. That's okay. That means I can combine those numbers. So each box has 12 packets of fruit snacks. So I'm going to write 12 fruit snacks and 20 packets of cashews. So I'm going to add my 20 packets of cashews to my 12 fruit snacks. And I don't know my total because the total is how many snack packets does she buy altogether? That's the answer to my question. So first things first, I have to add both numbers that I have for my each so that I only have one number. 12 plus 20. Well, if I work with my ones place first, 2 plus 0 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So my number for my each is now 32. Now I can go ahead and write out my multiplication equation that represents my problem. 7 boxes of snacks times 32 snacks equals my unknown. All right, well, let's set up our problem vertically so that I can use the standard algorithm to solve. So we have 32 times 7. All right, let's go ahead and get started. 7 times 2 is 14. So I'm going to write my 4 in the ones place and carry my 1 over the tens place. Next, I'm going to multiply 7 times 3. And 7 times 3 is 21. Now, let's not forget about that 1 that we carried over the tens place because that's a whole 10. So we have to add that into our answer. So 214 plus that whole 10 that we carried over the tens place, that 1 over the tens place. And now we can go ahead and finish up working out our problem. So let's start with the ones place. What's 4 plus 0? 4. And 1 plus 1? It's 2. And 2 plus 0 is 2. Very good. So that means that Miss Lemus bought 224 snack packets all together. That's our answer. If you'd like, go ahead and pause the video so that you can make sure that you have worked out your problem correctly. Let's work on number 3. Number 3 says Tamara wants to buy a tablet that costs $437. She saves $52 a month for 9 months. Does she have enough money to buy the tablet? Explain why or why not. Okay, let's look at the first sentence. Tamara wants to buy a tablet that costs $437. Well, that's information, but that information isn't going to give me an equation or anything to work out. So I'll just write that down as a note. Okay, so the tablet costs $437. Now, in this next sentence, that should be enough information for an equation. Let's see. It says she saves $52 a month for 9 months. That sounds like a get chart to me. $52 a month is the same thing as saying $52 each month. So $52 each month for 9 months. They don't give us a total, so we have to figure that out. Now, when we figure that out, we'll be able to answer the question, does she have enough money to buy the tablet. So when you set up your problem vertically, you should have 52 times 9. Okay, now let's go ahead and start multiplying. 9 times 2 is 18. So we're going to write 8 in the ones place, and we're going to carry our 1 over the tens place. Next, we're going to multiply 9 times 5. What's 9 times 5? You should have said 45. So we're going to write down our 45. But don't forget about that 1 that we carried over the tens place. That means we have to add a whole 10 to our solution. So let's go ahead and add a whole 10 to our solution of 458. And let's start with the ones place. 8 plus 0 is 8. And 5 plus 1 is 6. And 4 plus 0 is 4. So that means that yes, Tamara has enough money. She was able to save $468. She only needs $437. She has more than enough money. Now, go ahead and pause the video so that you have time to go ahead and make sure to check your solution to make sure that it's correct, and also your explanation of why Tamara does have enough money. Let's take a look at number 4. Number 4 says, Mr. Ramirez receives 4 sets of books. Each set has 16 fiction books and 14 nonfiction books. He puts 97 books in his library and donates the rest. How many books does he donate? Okay, let's go sentence by sentence to see if we can figure this out. Mr. Ramirez receives 4 sets of books. Okay, 4 sets of books. That sounds like groups to me. Each set, okay? So 4 sets are groups, and I see the word each. I definitely need a get chart. So I'm going to put my 4 sets there, and each set has 16 fiction books and 14 nonfiction books. 2 numbers in each again. 2 numbers in each again. So I have 16 fiction and 14 nonfiction, and I need a total. I don't have that yet. Then he puts 97 books in his library and donates the rest. How many books does he donate? Well, first I have to figure out my solution for this get chart, all right? So I have to figure out my each because I need one number. I don't want to work with 2 numbers. So let's add 16 plus 14. 16 plus 14. Okay, what's 6 plus 4? 10. So I'm going to put my 0 in my ones place, carry my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So that means that in my each section of my get chart, the number that should be there is 30 because 16 plus 14 is 30. Well, now I can set up my equation to solve for the first part of my problem. So I'm going to write 30 times 4. Now I'm going to solve for 30 times 4. 0 times 4 is 0. And 4 times 3 is 12. So at first, Mr. Ramirez has 120 books. Okay, he has 120 books, but it says that he puts 97 books in his library. If he's putting them somewhere, that means he doesn't have them anymore. So we have to subtract those 97 books that he puts in his library. So now we write 120 minus 97. Okay, now let's solve. We're going to start with the ones place. 0 minus 7. Well, if I hold up no fingers and I try to subtract 7 fingers, I can't do that. So I'm going to have to go next door. So I'm going to turn that 2 in the tens place into a 1 because I borrowed a whole 10. And now in my ones place, I have a 10. I can start solving. Okay, 10 minus 7 is 3. 1 minus 9. Well, I don't think I can do that. If I hold up one finger and I try to take away 9 fingers, I cannot do that. So I have to borrow. I have to go next door to Mr. 100. All right, so that 1 in the hundreds place is going to turn into a 0 because I took it. And now my tens place is 11. Okay, so now I can start solving yet again. 11 minus 9 is 2. So that means that after he puts those 97 books in his library, he has 23 books left to donate. So our answer is Mr. Ramirez donated 23 books. Now will be a good time to pause your video to make sure that your solution matches my solution. Or you can go ahead and make sure you have everything written down that I have on my screen right now to make sure that you have the correct answer. Let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 says Celia sells calendars for a fundraiser. Each calendar costs $9. She sells 16 calendars to her family members and 14 calendars to the people in her neighborhood. Her goal is to earn $300. Does Celia reach her goal? Explain your answer. I saw each, but then I saw 2 different sets of people, so I think I'm going to need to get charts. So let's start with figuring out how much money she earned by selling to her family members. Okay, so she sold 16 calendars to her family members, and it said that each calendar was $9. So I don't know the total for family members. I can figure that out. So the equation would be 16 times $9 equals unknown. Okay, let's set that problem up vertically so that we can solve using the standard algorithm. So we have 16 times 9. So first we start off with 9 times 6. And 9 times 6 is 54. So we put that 4 in the ones place and we carry our 5 over the tens place. Then we multiply 9 times 1. Well, 9 times 1 is 9, but we can't forget about that 5 that we carried over the tens place. And that's a whole 50. So we need to go ahead and add that 50 to our solution. Now we have 4 plus 0 in our ones place, which is 4, and 9 plus 5 in our tens place, which is 14. So that means that the total amount of money that she raised selling to family members was $144. Okay, so we figured out how much money she raised selling to family members. Now let's figure out how much money she raised selling to the people in the neighborhood. Okay, she sold 14 calendars to the people in the neighborhood, and each calendar was $9. And we're trying to figure out the total amount of money she raised by selling to the people in the neighborhood now. So that equation would be 14 times 9 equals unknown. All right, now let's set that up vertically so that we can solve this equation using the standard algorithm. So we have 14 times 9, and we're going to start by multiplying 9 times 4, which is 36. So we put our 6 in the ones place, and we carry our 3 over the tens place. Then we multiply 9 times 1, which is 9. Now we have that 3 over the tens place, and that's a whole 30. So we have to go ahead and add that 30 to our solution of 96. And we start adding with the ones place. 6 plus 0 is 6. And 9 plus 3 is 12. So that means that she raised $126 selling to the people in the neighborhood. Now, to figure out if she reached her goal, we have to add the money that she raised by selling to her family members to the money that she raised by selling to the neighborhood people. So that would be 144 plus 126. And we start adding with the tens place. 4 plus 6 is 10. So we write down our 0 in the ones place. We carry our 1 to the tens place. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 2 more is 7. And now we add our hundreds place. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that means that Celia earned a total of $270, but her goal was to earn $300. So did Celia reach her goal? No. Unfortunately, Celia does not reach her goal. She earned $270. She wanted to earn $300. So that's our answer. Now go ahead and pause the video so that you can write down your solution or so that you can check your solution against my solution to make sure that it's correct. Now let's take a look at number 6. Number 6 says the video store sells science and history movies for $5 each. How much money does the video store make if it sells 33 science movies and 57 history movies? This question looks like it needs 2 Get charts. One Get chart for science movies and one Get chart for history movies. And then we put it all together. So let's start with the science movies. Go ahead and make sure you write science movies and create your Get chart. Okay, so we have 33 science movies and they sell them for $5 each. So we need to figure out the total amount of money that they make on science movies first. So when we write that as an equation, it's 33 times $5 equals an unknown number. Now let's set this up vertically so that we can use the standard algorithm to multiply. Okay, so we write down 33 times 5. And we start by multiplying 5 times 3, which is 15. So we write our 5 in the ones place, and we carry our 1 over the tens place. Next, we multiply 5 times 3 again. And again, it's 15. So we go ahead and write down our 15. Now we can't forget about that 1 that we carried over the tens place. That is a whole 10. So we need to add that whole 10 into our solution. So now we have 155 plus 10. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. And 1 plus 0 is 1. So that means that the total amount the video store made for science movies was $165. Now let's figure out how much they made selling history movies. So we're going to write history movies and a get chart for our history movies. So they sold 57 history movies. And the cost for each one of those movies is $5, just like the science movies. And we're trying to figure out the total. So when we set it up, like an equation, that's 57 times $5 equals an unknown number. Now let's go ahead and write our equation vertically so that we can use the standard algorithm to solve. So we have 57 times 5. And we're going to start by multiplying 5 times 7. Well, 5 times 7 is 35. So we're going to write our 5 in the ones place and carry our 3 over the tens place. Next, we're going to multiply 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So we're going to go ahead and write our 25 down. But we can't forget about that 3 that we carried over the tens place. That 3 is a whole 30 because it's in the tens place. So we're going to go ahead and add 30 to our solution of 255. Now, as always, we start with the ones place. 5 plus 0 is 5. And 5 plus 3 is 8. And 2 plus 0 is 2. So that means the store made $285 selling history movies. Now, the question asks, how much money does the video store make if it sells 33 science movies and 57 history movies, which means we have to add the total for the science movies to the total of the history movies. So we write our equation. Larger number goes first. 285 plus 165. And we start with our ones place. 5 plus 5 is 10. So we write our 0 in the ones place and we carry our 1 over the tens place. Then we add everything in the tens place. 1 plus 8 is 9 and 9 plus 6 is 15. So we write our 5 in the tens place and we carry our 1 over the hundreds place. Now we add all the numbers in the hundreds place. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So our total is 450. So that means that the video store will make $450 if it sells 33 science movies and 57 history movies. Now, go ahead and pause your video to make sure your work is correct or to make sure that you have everything written down so that you have a complete and correct answer. Congratulations, you've completed all 6 questions of Lesson 23 homework. As always, I hope this video helped. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.